Okay, we hit record. I've had this like habit of forgetting lately. Okay, so we're gonna slam through week 5 and 6, and they're closely connected because it's all about questions. It's all about questions. It's just two different ways we ask questions. One's in a group, and one is on the phone. Okay, so let's double check real quick. Who's using their tracker? How many have been consistent about using their tracker? Lindsay, you're on that. Rona, you're on that. Okay. Are you continuing with the same habits, or are you doing anything different? Have you changed up your habits, Lindsay, or is it consistent?
Last week I'd have to be honest, I kind of getting back into that whole consistency.
Okay.
Because 2 weeks ago, how we had talked about, just kind of had a really, really bad week, with some personal stuff going on. So last week it was just going all back to the basics that I had learned with you so far and getting just consistent with that. Because I don't want to start tweaking or changing, or I'll get all flustered and
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
and yeah.
So, I'm just out of pure curiosity. Were you able to do any interviews last week? Do you have any new recruits that I don't know about?
I did, let's see, how many interviews? I had 3 interviews last week, and I have 1 new recruit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many new total since the free call you were on?
3.
3. Okay, those 2 the day after and then this new one.
Yes.
Is that right? Okay, cool. And is your goal still 10 for the month, or are you readjusting that? Do you think you're gonna have enough people to talk to in California?
Let's see, there's 2 weeks left of September, essentially.
But you'll be in California.
Let's see, that's 3. Yeah, I probably will still say 10, just because I don't like changing goals and kind of giving myself a reason to get off the hook. Okay. But I'm also learning to not be so hard on myself when I don't necessarily reach a goal in the time frame, because it doesn't mean I'm not going to get there. Okay. I just need to adjust it. All right. Yeah, I'd still like to shoot for 10.
Yeah. Well, there was this one New Year's where there were some things that I wanted to have happen that hadn't quite happened yet. And I remember thinking, God doesn't care that it went from December 31st to January 1st. There's no calendar in heaven, and it's just another.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter when it turns October 1st, but I mean, there's this catch-20. It's like you want to be consistent and have some goals, but you don't want to make yourself crazy either.
Yeah.
So, okay, are the other 2 maybes, or are they both no's out of the 3 interviews you had?
The other one was a definite no. She just didn't feel like it was the right time. She loved the business plan. She just didn't feel like it was the right time in her life, which I respect and I completely understand, because that's how I was when I first was offered. And the other gal was a maybe. She needed to talk to her husband, kind of see some financials. And so again, it's just kind of like, I completely respect that. I am not about to be like, oh, what do you mean you have to talk to your husband? Like, no, talk to your husband.
No. Yeah.
You're a team.
Yeah. So days after and kind of go review the questions with her.
Yeah.
You kind of rebrief and go through the questions, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, so let's start with number 5. Echoing for some reason. Okay, is that better? All right, so week 5, what we want to talk about. I need to change that to lesson 5 instead of week 5. Okay, so this is one of my most favorite things to talk about, is talking about how to ask questions in a group, okay? There's some amazing power in this that is so much fun. And when I learned how to do this, my sales skyrocketed. It was such a fun thing to have happen, okay? It's really, really powerful. And so we want to really help you get really, really good at this. and really effective at this, because this is a lot of fun to do. It's a 4-step process, and this is when you're having a class and you're teaching people about your product. What the whole goal is to first find out about what their interests are, and then be able to talk about the product that would be a perfect fit for them as you're presenting the product. And as much as you can, remember their names. Can you excuse me for just 1 second? I'll be right back. You two talk amongst each other. I'll be right back, okay?
I gotta unmute.
Hi. So Rona, you're with doTERRA, right? The the oils, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm familiar with Mary Kay. I really like the under eye moisturizer,
Oh yeah.
sunscreen, and I have a friend that also does Mary Kay. And I've been doing doTERRA for a year.
Okay.
So how long have you been doing Mary Kay?
I've been in Mary Kay since March. So I think essentially I've been working my business probably for about 6 months, like really working it. But yeah. But I was reading about doTERRA, and I'm really interested in it, like as a consumer, because with 2 kids and everything, I'm trying not to, be that mom who always relies on chemicals and medicines, and so yeah.
Well, that is the very popular to be doing the natural. So I can see that you have your concerns about the pharmaceutical thing, right?
Yeah.
And the main thing that's going to happen real soon is that the cold and viruses are going to come. And On Guard is a oil of citrus oil. It's a blend, and it's been proven to go right into the cell and go right into the virus and make it malfunction and fall apart so it can't get stronger. And so that's the first thing I recommend for moms is to try the On Guard as a preventative, protective blend, and you just put it on your little one's feet at night, so it's really not difficult to do, and that helps to build and strengthen the immune system. Mostly it's citrus oil, so it's got a lot of good things in it. And we also have it's a whole line of products. So we have a hand wash that is in a pump foam wash that is great for killing bacteria and viruses. And we have laundry detergent that really does a great job at getting the smells, And then you can also use the On Guard internally for when the kid does get sick. We have a flu bomb that we put together that works really well. It's 2 drops of liquid, 2 drops of On Guard, 2 drops of oregano, and 4 drops of lemon. And last time I got sick was at Christmas time. And in 4 days, I was better. So we put eucalyptus on our chest, we put the On Guard on our feet, and we take oils internally, which you can do with doTERRA because they're so pure, and you don't have to worry about they're very concentrated, so you don't have to take a lot of it. It just works really well. The virus that came here at Christmas time killed grandmoms. My husband is an older gentleman, and so was Howard. And I really contribute the fact that my family has the oils that we use the oils to the fact that it didn't kill him, because he was very, very sick, and he also had a compromised immune system because he's got 6 bypasses and 7 stents. And so Howard didn't make it, but we all did. And so I think that's a really, I apply that to the oils because we diffuse them and we use them internally, and we also use them topically. And so I think that it killed that germ. Anyway, thank you for asking. I needed to practice too.
Good job. Hi, Belinda. How are you? You're muted. Are you awesome?
I'm good. I'm good. How about you?
Good. Okay, let's rock and roll. I apologize about that. Okay, so we're going to talk about talking in a group. I love all the success stories, by the way, Rana. I've been on some interesting doTERRA calls. It's fun. I have my own little natural path things I've done and had babies at home, and so I always have my own little ways, and I learn more about these oils because it's not something I've used. I have my other little tricks. Anyway, don't like antibiotics, that stuff. Okay, so a couple things. So we're going to talk about talking in a group, okay? And this is incredibly fun. It's so fun because at the end of the night, you feel so connected to people. And the 3 of you are each such personable people and love people and want to help them with the products you have. And so this makes you feel even more authentic. It's really, really cool. It's one of my most fun parts of my job when I was with direct sales, is speaking in a group and helping people get their products. So the first thing you need to think about, okay, if you happen to be someone who doesn't feel like they're very good with names, do any of you feel like, oh, remembering names is a struggle? Is that something you struggle with, remembering names? Yes, no, maybe, yes, a little bit. Okay. Depends. Okay, Lindsay's the youngest, so she sucks. No, I'm just kidding. She still has more brain cells than the rest of us.
Put together.
Oh, I'm telling you. I once heard on, it was like Dr. Oz or something on Oprah said your brain shrinks by 8% with a pregnancy. And at that point I'd had 5 pregnancies, and I'm like, well, I'm down by 40%. I'm in trouble. I had nothing left. I'm barely over at 50%. Anyway, it's kind of my little joke. But okay, so if you don't feel like you remember names well, I want you to Google it. Find a way, okay, repeat their name back to them, ask them how to spell it, think of someone you know with that name. There's lots of little tricks. See what you can do to get a little bit better at remembering names. And when I don't remember them, I'm like, as long as I compliment them, you can kind of pull it off. Oh, okay, lady with that really cute pink shirt that I'm just admiring. Remind me your name one more time. Start with a P. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, so Patty, you talked about this, okay? So you can definitely find ways to kind of work around it. You won't remember every single person's name, but do the best you can to learn to remember names. And I'll tell you why. It's going to play into this next part, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to ask a rhetorical question that we feel most people are going to say yes to. So if I was selling my product, I'd say, do most of you, let's see, do most of you feel like having the reputation of a salesperson isn't always the most popular reputation. Say, you know, you want to sell without feeling like a salesperson, okay? How many of you, you know, have heard these different things about chemicals and makeup and wondering if, do I need to really think about this? Are there options? Are there things that really work? You know, we've heard about this over-the-counter medication, and, you know, do you ever wonder, is there an alternative, and is it really as, you know, have the negative side effects as they talk about? You know, we want a rhetorical question where you're pretty sure most people are going to say yes. We want to start getting this head bob, okay? We want to get 3 yeses here. So the next thing we do is then we ask them, tell me. So I could ask, well, tell me what you sell now, or what's the biggest thing you're worried is going to happen if you appear as a salesperson? What's the thing that just makes you fearful or makes it hardest to be, you know, good at sales or consistent at sales, or makes you nervous about sales, or what do you sell? So you could ask, you know, if you had one health concern or one medication you wanted to get rid of, what would that be? If you were to leave the house and have one type of makeup on, what is that you have to have on when you leave the house? If you know, you want us to have some sort of question, I say, okay, let's do introductions. I try to meet them as they come in, catch their name then, and then I try to get it a second time as they go around, introduce themselves. And so I'll say, okay, let's start with our hostess, Susie. Susie, why did you invite me here, and what's your thing? You know, makeup, healthcare, whatever it is. And so you can start with her, or you can start with a person where you see, like, you know how a person's expression changes on their face when they start thinking about what they would do, what they would use. And I'll go, okay, I see your wheels are turning. I'm like, what are you thinking? Now, one of the things, does anybody ever, you know, okay, so we have Sunday school at church. Who has Sunday school where someone's teaching and there's a group of people? Anyone have Sunday school? Okay, so have you ever sat in a room and the teacher kind of asks sort of a I call them Sunday school answers, you know, it's going to be read your scripture, say your prayers, you know, 10 commandments, but somebody asks a question and nobody wants to be the first person to talk. It's like this awkward silence, right? That big pregnant pause. And finally, one person will finally say something, and then everybody has to have their say. Like, then it's just bam, 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 like, and they can't get the discussion to end. Anybody, like, seen that in Sunday school? Seen that experience? Okay. Okay, I'm always the first to say something. You and me, Belinda, we're sisters in heaven, okay? Like, yeah, I'm not the quiet one either. But the thing is, like, after someone says something, then it's just like this ripple effect. Nobody wants to be the first person, but then nobody wants to be left out after that. So as people are saying their, basically their needs, which is what you're trying to find, it's like, okay, after that first person, you got to realize there might be a pregnant pause, and your heart might pound. Okay, you might be like, oh, they're not talking. What do I do now? Michelle was wrong. This is a horrible idea. Okay, like, you've got to stick with me here. And if nothing else, you just go right to the hostess and have her answer it. Okay, worst case scenario, just go for the hostess. No big deal. But let them think. Let me tell you why. People are used to you infomercialing. They come, they sit down, they get their cheesecake from the hostess, and they listen to you talk. And they're not used to you asking questions and them actually interacting with you. Okay? They're used to just being talked at and sold at in a presentation. They're not used to somebody actually caring what they think when they're there. They thought they're just going to be talked to. Does that kind of make sense? Okay. So give them a minute to think, because they're like, what? You care what I'm thinking about? That wasn't what I was expecting. Okay. And so get that first person going. Say, Susie, thank you so much for sharing that. Use their name, whatever you can do to make it stick in your brain. And all of a sudden, like, everybody will go, and they'll go, oh, they already talked, they already told your name. Oh, I have that problem too. I forgot to mention that one. And it's like, and it's like Sunday school and everybody has to have their 2 cents. Okay. But this is what's so exciting about it. When you start presenting the product, you know to say, all right, Bethany, you told me you're an eyeshadow girl. You can't get enough colors. You're going to want to hang with me and play on this one. Okay. And so when you're bringing the product out and you're talking, you said you can't leave the house without mascara. Let me tell you the cool stuff about this mascara, Becky. You're going to love this stuff. Let me tell you why. Okay, Susie, you talked about your husband's back pain. Okay, you're going to love this Blue Ice. Is that what it's called, Rona? Am I saying it right? And you're going to want a tube of this. You are going to be his best friend tonight when you take this home. Okay, like we say their names and we attach the product to the people. And like this really cool thing happens. Okay, but before we get there, what you're going to do is say, hey, could I share a little story with you about how this has impacted my life, or why I like this product, or what I like about this? And you want it somewhat emotional, okay? Now, I wasn't trying to play off of people when I did this, but it really was my story. My very first company, I sold scrapbooking supplies, and my first little boy went home after about 45 minutes after he was born. He didn't have kidneys, and he had to go back to his Heavenly Father rather quickly. Wasn't my idea, but you know what? We all have our hard. That was my hard that time. So all I had was his pictures left. That's all I had left. And I scrapbooked and I scrapbooked and I scrapbooked. And then I started selling scrapbook supplies. And so when I talk to people, I ask them, what are your top 1 or 2, 3 memories that if you could have any memory preserved for your family, what would it be? Let me tell you about why having memories preserved has been special to me. And let me tell you a little bit about having that book I have for Jeremy. And so I tell him my story, and of course a lot would cry. And every now and then I had someone who just lost somebody, or and we were just all bonding and all girls and all crying together. But people were excited about preserving their memories, which is a priceless gift, right? I mean, if you're running out of the house and there's a fire, it's my wedding ring and the photographs, So it's not like I was just playing on people, but it really was important to me, okay? And you each have your stories. You each have your success stories. You each have your whys, and you need to share that. Share your whys and what you're doing. Okay, and you can share a little bit of your business wise and a little bit of your product wise if you'd like. You can do both. Okay. Oh, Deep Blue. Sorry, I make things up as I go sometimes, Rona. Okay, so then that's where you start bringing out the products. Now let me tell you, Rona, you've got 75 plus whatever. I don't know. I lost track of how many oils y'all have. And if you just start going down the line of oils, first of all, you're going to bore people. The other thing that's going to happen is if you didn't do it this way, you're going to miss out on somebody's situation that you're not going to tell them there's a solution to. So when you've taken the time to share with people the different options or understood their problems, I know you have a basic presentation for doTERRA, but then you can bring out that bottle number 39 you wouldn't have talked about and said, because you talked about this, I would love to have you try this and see if this would be a good fit for you. Okay, and this is why, and this is what I've seen. Okay, this is what's so cool about this is because I know, I know several companies kind of have, kind of script and canned programs to make sure you start with the basics. Like Mary Kay, they want you using their skincare. They want to improve your skin before they start putting stuff on top, right? That's their theory, is let's make your skin healthy. But you're going to have someone who has a certain situation that can thing, you're going to still talk about the can thing, and you're going to go through each product and make sure you're connecting it to people. But then which maybe 3 extra items you need to discuss and bring up. Okay? Whereas you have 60 extra items, and you're like, if I get talking, we'll be here all night. And people check out and their eyes roll in the back of their head. Okay? But you can throw in 3 extra items and show how personable and what great customer service you give. Okay? It's cool. I'm telling you, my sales doubled. I have a gal at doTERRA who's done this twice. She swears her parties tripled in sales by doing it this way. All my doTERRA people go, oh my gosh, I know my people so much better than I ever have before. They are thrilled because when you sit down to do their orders, guess how easy it is to use that optional close of, well, do you want this kit or do you want a couple individual orders? This one will have the things you need based on the things you were talking about. You have no problem making suggestions, okay? Whereas if you just do the canned speech and you have no idea what they want and you hope they say something as you pop out the mascara or the, you know, bronzer or whatever it might be, and you hope you see from their reaction what they might want, why guess? Okay? You can find out what they're into. The other thing you can do is as you're bringing in products, let's say this product, there's a reason for this product that wasn't brought up in the group. You could say, hey, does anybody ever have a hard time waking up in the morning? Okay, let's say there's a thing that, you know, help with rise and shine. Does anyone ever have little dark spots or pimples or something they want to cover? Does anyone ever have this? And they'll, oh, me, you know, some of them will, some of them won't. Okay, great. Well, let me tell you about this product and why you might want this one. Okay, at the end, you now know that person had this challenge. They just didn't bring it up because we were talking about their number one top challenge at the beginning. But you can sit down with them at the end of the party and go, well, these are the ones that I talked about that connected to the needs you talked about. Was there anything else that popped up in your brain that you said, oh, I need something for this, or I need something for this? Anything else pop up? Okay, so here's your list of ones that look like would be a really good fit for you. Can we do all these today, or would you like to start with a couple? What would be the best thing for you to do today? Or there's quite a few here. I could get some of them for you for free. You can have a couple of friends over, and we'll get you some stuff for free and do it that way. Okay? Options. Not say you want to do it. Okay? You don't have to do that anymore because you know what to suggest. Because one of the problems people have when it comes to an optional close is they're like, well, what options do I give? Right? They're like, but I don't know what to suggest. So this is amazing. I'm telling you. I mean, it was January in North Dakota and my sales are doubling. Okay? I earned a trip in half the time allotted. How many of you have ever seen people, the trip, their car, their whatever bonus, and they're down to that very last minute selling that last bottle, that last tube, that whatever, you know, those last sales to get in their thing. And I earned that darn trip in half the time. That was my goal. And I did it. And it was like crazy exciting. Okay? This is so much fun because you're completely authentic. You're completely authentic. And people, I've been known as bold. Okay? I'm not terribly shy. You can see that. And yet people are saying, wow, you are so not pushy. You're so nice. And I'm really excited about what I'm going home with. And I have exactly what I need. Yeah, I was selling scrapbook supplies. I can get anybody excited about cute paper. It's not that hard with women, okay? We're crafting, girls. You got to have this. And then people are taking pictures to match their paper versus the other way around, okay? Been there, done that, okay? Totally happens, I'm telling you. But we flip-flopped it. And the thing is, because they went home with products they were going to use and they were going to preserve those memories, one, you get much better repeat business because they actually use what they buy because they bought what they needed. And two, you get better referrals. I'm telling you, this is win, 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 win. There's like no negative to this whatsoever. And it feels so much better. It's the greatest thing ever, okay? So if you at all can just either do groups or like speaking in groups, this will just pop things up. Okay, can you see how incredibly beneficial this is? It's awesome, okay? Just like that huge shift in your interviews, Lindsay, this is gonna do the same thing for your Mary Kay classes. Exact same thing. You're good at what you do, your product's awesome, you're just gonna be so much more personable and know what to sell people. And they're gonna know why they need it, and so it's easier for them to write that check or, you know, run the card, whatever it is. Okay, it really, really does, because they know they need it and it's not an impulse buy. You know that pain in their face and you're like, should I keep pushing it or not, because I don't want them to regret buying it. You know, you kind of go back and forth. I want the sale, but I don't want them annoyed, you know. There's not very much of that, because you made sure you got what they needed. Okay, makes sense? So you need to send me a script, steps, your rhetorical question, something people are going to say yes to. This is hard because I'm going to teach you open-ended questions. I make you do a yes-no question. Second one, very, very open-ended with your introductions. Then, hey, can I share a story with you? In your fourth step, you need to share a story with me. You need to tell me why you're selling these products. You better have a story, okay? Why you love it. Not why you're doing it to get money. That's not what I mean. Why you love the product. Okay, then have a couple products that you're going to say, hey, who has this situation, this challenge? Who likes this? I want you to have a couple questions in there that then you can keep revealing needs as you're going through the night or day or evening or morning or whenever your party is, okay? All right, how's everybody feeling about that? I hope you're really excited, because I'm telling you, it's super cool, okay? If it was a little uneasy at first because it's something new and different and you're like, really, can Michelle really be right that it's that powerful? You take my word for it, it's gonna be a lot of fun, okay? What's really fun is I know Lindsay's gonna be over this like white on rice, because she does what I tell her to do. Lindsay's like she said to do it, so I did it. What are the 4 steps? Okay, what was your question again, Belinda? Hang on. I got to reread it. It just zapped away. Let's see. What are the 4 steps to the party presentation? Well, they're in the agenda. If you have the agenda, it's rhetorical question, open-ended question to get the group talking. The third one is just, can I share with you my story? That one you don't change. And then the fourth one is your story. It's not actually a question. The fourth step is your story. Okay? Did you get that? Okay. All right. So hopefully you each, I need to see this on paper, like, ladies, okay? The next thing we're going to do is go back to, oh, you're fine, Belinda, no problem. I know how late you were up on the internet, because I was too. We're being naughty last night. Okay, so we're going to talk about this phone script, because I promise you, ladies, phone script, this one isn't as much fun as in the group, because the group you get to see people's faces and all that. And so I get it, it's not as much fun, but it's as important or more, because this is how you get the parties to then have people to talk to. Okay? Anybody's phone weigh 1,000 pounds? No? Anybody wish they didn't have to get on the phone? Lindsay, she's like, heck yeah. Okay. All right. So we're going to talk about this phone script. We're going to go over the first 3 steps. Who's used the first 3 steps of the phone script? Who's been on the phone? Hi, this is Rona calling. Yeah. Have a quick minute. Lindsay has been. Linda, I'm going to make you ask all these questions on Facebook, girl.
No, I couldn't call anybody because I had trouble with the getting the date set for the event. So I couldn't use the script because I'm trying to get these events lined out so I have an invite, date and time. So
Okay.
but I make phone calls to follow up on, make sure everybody's products are that they're doing their product orders, and also to try to get these events lined out. So it didn't go with the script, but I've been talking the script to myself.
Okay. The script you use, no matter who you're calling. Doesn't even matter if it's business. Use the first and the third step every time.
Okay.
Belinda, you know 2,000 people on Facebook. What the heck are you talking about? You don't really want me to go there, do you? Gosh. Yeah, we're going to have to, we'll have a chat later, and I won't embarrass you in front of everyone. You tell me you don't know anybody. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, I don't care how many you know. If you only know 3, then you better make 3 calls. We'll get there. It's okay. I know the phone's not your thing. It'll get better, okay? I'm going to help you with it. It's all good. All right. We'll get you out of your comfort zone. You've owned a restaurant. You know, all that good stuff. Okay? You guys are all chatting. I can't read and talk at the same time. Give me a second. Never. Oh. I'd do it for you. Yeah, you wish. You wouldn't have nearly the confidence. Let me give it a shot. To what? What are you guys talking about? What are you saying you never have to, Lindsay? I think I missed it.
She said that everybody on Facebook's trying to sell to her, and I was like, I've never tried to sell to you. And she was like, give it a shot. But then I was like, but that's not what I'm supposed to do. I'm not supposed to sell you.
You balls. Okay, focus. Rona, you're just going to have to smack these girls and get them in line, right? You guys are so funny. Okay. So we just have to say, we just have to go, okay. The phone makes us nervous. We don't always want to get on the phone. Okay. It's just the way it is. But Belinda, you're amazing in a group of people. You gotta get on the phone so you can get in front of a group of people because that's your thing, right? Like you're an incredibly articulate speaker in front of people. Like seriously, like you sold my friend's product way better than I've ever heard her sell it. It was like the funniest thing ever. I was like, yeah, okay. It's like, yeah, Marilee has no idea what Belinda just did for her. I mean, it was hysterical, okay? So we had a networking thing here in Tri-Cities, and Belinda was there. Anyway, so you had to introduce a friend. You can introduce yourself. And Belinda forgot to bring your friend, no comment. Anyway, but that's okay, because she got to know a new friend there, and she introduced this person who she hadn't known very long, and she, like, totally sold her product. Like, you should have seen her. She's all over it. Like, she's so good at this. And she just, like, talk to people, which we all get nervous about because we don't want to have no's and rejection and all that, okay? But you have to take really deep breaths and get logical instead of emotional, which is hard because we're girls, okay? But you've got to get logical about this. You have questions to ask Belinda, and if what you have isn't a good fit, you don't have to offer it to them. That's what's so great about my system. You don't have to try to push and convince anybody to try something they don't want to. I mean, there's nothing worse than you go on and on and on about something, and then you find out, it's just totally not the right thing. I mean, oh, what's a good bad example? I'm trying to think here. Sometimes you find out someone's already selling to them. I mean, that's something Lindsay has to deal with all the time, is someone who's already selling Mary Kay to somebody that they're talking to. But, as you're talking to people, it's just, talking to a weight loss person to a skinny thing. Sometimes that skinny thing's invited anyway. They're trying to stay skinny. But anyway, I mean, you know what I mean? It's all relative, okay? You don't have to sell things to everybody. That's a nice thing. And because you ask lots of good questions, you know if they need it before you present the product. And you don't have to feel pushy, okay? That's what's really cool about this. You get to be true to yourself. So you need good questions, okay? All three of you, I need to see your questions. Because if you see the way the script works, you're going to go through those three questions, that three-step process. Hi, this is Michelle Withers calling. If you recall, we met at the networking opportunity on Friday. Do you have a quick minute to chat? Okay, this has got to be automatic. I'm serious. You got to say at least 1 and 3 to everyone you call, your mom, your sister, your girlfriend. Rona, you're calling people for homeschool stuff. You've got to say 1 and 3 all the time. Hi, this is Rona calling. Got to put calling on the end. Calling, calling, calling. It's got to go on the end of that sentence. Do you have a quick minute to talk? Doesn't matter who you're calling. I don't care if they're business things. You've got to get going on that, okay? Because it's got to roll off your tongue or you'll sound like a salesperson, okay?
I am starting to use it.
Well done. Excellent.
I still stumble over my words, but I always will, I think.
That's okay. But the thing is, if you're just someone who isn't the most fluid talker, that's still like your natural person, but you don't want to stumble over it because it sounds like it's robotic and then the rest of it sounds smooth. Okay, just want to sound natural for you.
Okay.
So this is where we come up with really good questions. Okay, and these are questions I've been giving you. Okay, tell me one health concern you have that you would love an alternative product to. Okay, tell me some medications you're on that you'd like to know if there's any way to get off of them. Okay, gals, you got 2 to 1 here. Tell me some makeup questions. Let's practice this. Tell me some good makeup questions.
I always ask them what's the one glamour item they would never leave the house without.
Awesome. What else?
That's a good one. What type of skin type you have? What type of skin you have? Sorry, I read that totally wrong.
You're so funny. Okay,
I'm tired too, Belinda.
you need 5 questions.
I do ask, are they more on do they like color or do they like more natural?
Okay, that's awesome.
Especially if I'm doing a glamour, then I know like what colors to definitely stay away from.
Right. Go the greens and the blue. And
yeah. Yes, I will ask them what their skincare regimen is so far, what products they're using so far, if they could change anything about their skin, what would they change?
Good questions.
Yeah, I also ask people if they do wear foundation, because I don't want to just assume everybody does and bring liquid. If they're like, I do, but I only wear mineral, then I know to bring the mineral foundations.
Right. Perfect. Belinda, what other questions you got going in? What makes your product unique that you need to know more about other people? Lindsay took them, whatever. You got mineral-based stuff. Come on, get going. Even asking people what they know. Are the products you use all natural? No, that's baiting people. That's making them feel stupid if they're not. Okay, I'm just gonna be blunt with you. Asking people, tell me a little bit about what you know about natural products versus ones that are sold in the grocery store. I call it polite education. Okay, and plus that was a yes/no question. Let's not go. We'll get it. You'll get into that with a presentation. Asking them a little bit about what's the.
Like I said, Lindsay took them all. I was typing them as she was saying them.
So cute. Okay. But something about, everyone sees on social media different concerns and different things said about chemicals in everything we use from food to makeup. What's something you've seen about makeup that you've wondered, is it really that bad and is there an alternative to it? Do you like that?
Yep. I'm just trying to write and I don't picture.
Yeah, that was long. It was long. Sorry. I'm a little wordy sometimes. Even both of you, I know you both carry flats and or matte and gloss or shimmer.
Shimmer.
That's a good thing to know. Let's see. No, Lindsay had a lot of good ones. But if you can see, okay, the whole thing is you want this completely filled out, and you want several copies of this when you sit down to call customers. Okay, you call them, you go over these needs, and then you can say, well, either if they're new customers or old customers, Lindsay, okay, are you out of anything? What do we need to get you? You know, since you need several things, would you like to have a class and get some for free? Okay. You want it's echoing. I don't know why. I'm going to mute you for a second. There you go. You muted it. So that at the end of the call, you know what to offer. Okay. Like technically you want to come up here and you want to offer the business opportunity, then the hostess opportunity, then the sale. Okay. But it's just, that's not the right thing all the time. But you need to know where they're coming from. And this is so cool because now the thing you have to realize is if you come down here, if you see these 3 blanks, okay, what that is you have to keep asking questions until you have 3 needs revealed before you start talking about your product. Okay, it's very, very tempting. All of you are excited about your product, love what you offer, and it's so tempting when somebody tells you they have a problem to like just want to jump on that one and start talking. But if you only solve one problem, you only have about 30% chance of closing the deal. If you have 3, you have about a 90% chance of closing a deal. Especially if you want a party or, you know, something where you're going to get to introduce the product or them to recruit. Okay? You're much, much more likely to sell if there's multiple needs. Does that make sense why? Okay. Especially Rona with you, with your products. If it's just a product just for mom, she may not make herself a priority. If there's a product for her husband and a child and her, she's going to pay attention. Okay? Just a second, Lexi. My kids have forgot all the rules today. I don't know. They're not working the 12 today. Mondays, I don't know. So, I'm telling you though, if this phone script and putting in a 2-hour phone block in your week and doing all your parties in this manner with the questions, your sales can go so high just doing what you're doing now and making these tweaks. Your business will double and the sales you do at your parties will go so much higher. I mean, it is so fun and so rewarding. Okay? And you're totally authentic. You're making sure people have what they need. That's what's cool. It wasn't that you got sales because you just talked to so many people that finally did it. You're working smart instead of hard. Okay? And especially a Lindsay girl up there with her 2 little babies, okay? She has no time to work hard. She has only time to work smart. Okay? Right? So this, and it feels like you're on the phone a little longer, and it feels like you're in a presentation a little longer, but you have much higher sales. It's totally worth it. Make sense? Okay. So, Belinda, before you got on, if you notice, I put 3 and 4 in last week, and I put 5 and 6 in this week. I've been thinking about this a lot, and I'm still tweaking. I'm still trying to figure it out. But I have the opportunity, if you saw Debbie, one that, it was one of the things where you shared one of my free classes with people. And she, so I had a one-on-one with her for an hour. And we got so far, and she got so focused. And then she went and talked to Sherry and got her focused. And I just can see why it's really beneficial to have some one-on-one time and making sure you're applying what I teach, okay? And so I want to make sure that that's happening. And so I've crammed these extra weeks in so that the next 2 weeks we can do one-on-ones, and each of you have 20 to 30 minutes with me, and we go over and make sure your why is really clear and you have a specific game plan. And, you know, because not everybody applies all these principles at once. But the thing is, these are the foundations to all the rest of the things I teach. When we're going into hostess coaching, when we're going into recruiting, when we're going into retaining our team and all those things, all that just builds on this is the core. Okay, you've got to have the core. Or I just keep teaching and teaching, and then nobody applies what I'm talking about because they didn't get this down really solid. Okay, so that's kind of my game plan. And Lindsay, like if I'm too dingy to figure it out, she's going to help me figure out a Google Docs that people can go on and sign up for a time. Okay, and I really want to help you apply this. I know I can't put a gun to your head and make you do it, and I have people that have worked with me for a long time and they still keep working with me, and they take longer to apply this stuff and get brave enough to do it, and that's fine. Okay, some people apply it right away and some people have to hear it a couple times, and there's some fear that they have to overcome. Neither of them are good or bad or right or wrong. Okay, but I want to make sure I know where you're at, so I know if I need to keep working on fears that are in there before we can get you to do some of these things, or where you're at with it. Sound good? Okay. All right, awesome. Okay, so I'll get that set up. What questions do you have for me? How can I help you?
Is Thursday the same as Tuesday?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as long as I'm making one.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, same class. Yep.
I feel like I finally gotten connected, you know, and got this rolling. I got my notebook put together. So you're like part of my life now.
I'm part of your life. I feel special.
Okay, because I felt like, well, the last 14 days have been insane. So I felt like I haven't put in the effort I'm supposed to be doing here. And I know I jumped in with you right at the most busiest time of my whole life is the first 2 weeks in September, right? But I made a list. I've been very successful. I've got a lot of stuff done.
Awesome.
So,
well done.
I feel like I haven't focused where I know I'm supposed to be focusing. I want you to know that I know that I'm supposed to be focusing on this, but that I don't feel bad because it have been very successful at everything else that I've been doing too. Plus, I have been maintaining, and the oils have helped me to be emotionally grounded. So I'm loving that part of it.
Good.
I just want you to know that I really am all the way here.
But you know, this is the thing. You got to realize that they're recorded. Like, you know, you're going to get a couple weeks into it and you might have something else that kind of derails you, and you'll go back and watch the recordings, and we just always kind of keep having to get back on track. Nothing's a straight road. Okay? It's like just do what works for you. Okay?
Well,
and I can help you.
Well, and having somebody to be accountable, you know. And so thank you for holding me accountable. I started my vision board, and I got the family to write down some goals. So I have been working on it.
Was that cool? Was that enlightening?
Yes. You know, something else that I found out is that a lot of these tools I use, but I'm not concentrating on, right?
Right.
Okay, so even though my husband and I sit down and do goals all the time, we don't like write it down and we don't like involve the children. So that was a really cool thing to do. Although, you know, because I know what their goals are, but still it's great to have it cemented in. So, and I want to thank you for the time that you're going to give us in the next one-on-ones, because I will find that valuable for me too. So thank you.
Welcome. You're very welcome. So my goal is, you know, I'll talk to people. I'll be like, okay, you need to go back and watch this video. And they'll be like, okay, and this is what you're going to look for specifically, and you're going to pause it, and you're going to write these things down. I mean, it's hard because, look, I mean, Lindsay's not exactly going to be taking the best notes she can right now, but she can go back and watch it again. And repetition is very, very powerful for us, okay? Very powerful. There's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't make us weak or something. We forget 90% of what we hear 7 days later, okay? And that's part of, I mean, I'll probably do weekend events eventually. I might do one in Seattle this fall. But it's the whole goal is get people to work long-term with me, because anybody who's been to a convention knows you come home and there's so little of it that you apply. Okay. And it's just, it doesn't mean you don't get excited and fired up. Okay. Because you do. But,
Right.
okay.
Well, that's something else I wanted to ask you. Do you think that the value, that $65 value to have the convention here, do you think that's do you think it's that valuable? Because, you know,
For $65?
yeah, they're gonna do the audio.
65, yeah, but the 1,000 it would take to go down there by the time you pay hotel, room, food, all that.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, depending on where you're at in your business, no, not all the time. I was really high up with my company and decided not to go to one of my conventions. It didn't make them very happy, but I knew what I was doing was working to grow my business, and it wasn't a priority to me. And it didn't make them very happy, but I knew going to convention, it gets you excited, gives you a few ideas, but it doesn't produce this follow-up and this accountability. There's no accountability out there. It's not like corporate people call you and see if you applied anything you learned.
Right. Okay.
I mean, like I said, I'm going to get a bad rep in the industry because, like, there's some things I just don't agree with. But I think if you explained it to them, they'd go, oh, yeah, that probably is what happened, you know?
Well, I can't go because I can't leave my husband, you know, I mean.
Right. But no, for $65, are you kidding? That's one good party. You're going to get enough good ideas to make that worth it. Yeah.
Okay.
I just know tons of people are going down for longer than a week to this huge doTERRA conference.
Oh yeah, they have a ton of things going on, and there are, I think they've got 1 million people going.
Right. And the thing is, after 3 days, I cannot take in one more ounce of information. I don't know how you can take in a whole week's worth.
Well, they're gonna give us 2 weeks to watch the videos. So, but I was thinking value, you know, because, well, when things are tight, you know.
Yeah.
I have toilet paper on my vision board, you know.
Okay, so awesome. The thing
I just want Charmin.
You have a program that you're paying for right now, and you're trying to apply stuff here. If you only have 2 weeks to use that information, I thought like it was yours forever. Then I don't know if it is worth it, because I don't know if you have time to watch it.
Okay.
So
thank you.
You know, I mean, and the thing is, your upline is going to make sure you know about the new products and the new specials and all that. It's not like Michelle's going to leave you hanging. Not me, Michelle.
Right.
My name is Michelle. But
we have this intensive thing going on the 4th of October where they're going to come and do a doTERRA intensive training. So.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, thank you for your input on that.
Sorry, sometimes a little too candid.
Oh, it's good.
I know. Get me in trouble. Anyway. Okay. All right. Linda, we're going to have to figure out what your fears are. I'm guessing it has something to do with your restaurant closing. some fear of failure. Am I like crazy? No? Okay. I don't know why. You know how we're all blessed with different gifts? For some reason, I kind of have a gift of figuring out what people's fears are pretty quick. And I like I said, I wish I knew why. Sometimes it's a little disturbing. And it's, it's interesting because I'm not sure to Lindsay, can you explain more what you're saying? Sorry.
No, it's okay. So, well, because I can completely relate to where Belinda's at, and just not having those contacts and wanting to wait till your first debut party. A lot of my contacts are in California, which a lot of my referrals come from, which is great for when I'm there, but I'm here 95% of the time.
Right.
So what I did is in just really local, busy places around my town, I made really kind of just simple but sophisticated looking facial boxes. I was super honest on it. I said, hey, enter to win a free prize with your complimentary facial, and people who are interested put their name, phone number, email. That's it, just like you taught us. And then I go in like once a week and collect them, and then they're already interested, and I don't feel like I'm, bugging or inconveniencing, and they're coming to me versus, and then they give you referrals. And
right. How many did you get doing that?
I have 4 out right now, and I get at least 5 a week from each of them. I mean, not all of them are, they're not all hot leads, but I mean, if it just takes one good lead.
Well, yeah. That's the thing. I cannot believe how often people do not understand the importance of one good lead. Because if they have a party and they get bookings and there's some bookings from there and they're able to recruit, one good lead can be incredibly valuable.
Yeah. And I'm honest right from the front, so they know I'm with Mary Kay. So there's no questioning when I call them, like, okay, who are you? What do you want? They know I'm from Mary Kay. They know they're going to be getting a free facial. If you're just starting off, and for me, it was, get $10 off your order. So I wasn't giving away product.
Right.
I was really like, oh, okay, so that's great. But it kind of just helped.
Oh, sorry.
It just helped kind of get over that, where am I going to find leads without, having to talk to so many people. And then because then you start talking to people just through those facial boxes, and you have to talk to the owners of the business to get them in there. And so you're telling them about what you're doing, so they're interested. So you just kind of slowly work your way over that, hump of, I don't want to talk to people.
Right. So, okay. This is the thing, Glenda. Just because I brainstorm with my feet, I do it a lot. I mean, to me, I'm like, okay, you need to be at, what's the diaper place? Buckwheat diapers. All these places are like natural thing. My brain I can come up with 10 ideas for you to find people. Okay. But I don't actually think that's your problem. Okay. I really think your problem is your fear of failure. Okay. You don't have a problem talking to people. You're creative. You brainstorm, people in this community. I can tell you a ton of ideas. I know that. Okay. But you've had some rough things between your husband's health and your business, and and so when that happens, we get down to real safety net. So I'm just going to be like, I'm just going to be really transparent with you. When my little boy died, I remember feeling like such a failure. I mean, okay, I'm the quote unquote good Mormon girl who's never drank, never smoked, never taken a drug, Advil and stuff, but and here this baby grows and has no kidneys. Okay. And what in the heck did I do wrong? Okay. And you feel you're a little crazy for a while. Okay. And, I remember going to a stamping cards, rubber stamping party. I could not pick up that stamp and stamp that card for fear I was going to screw it up because I could not handle one more failure. Okay, that's like how intense my fear of failure was. I was not picking up a rubber stamp. Okay, and I'm like dead serious about this. Okay, there was only certain things I could do. If I knew how to do it and could be successful, that's fine. But I couldn't do anything new. Okay, absolutely could not. And it takes time to overcome things, and it takes time to take one baby step at a time. Okay, Belinda, like we have to go, okay, you've got these events, and that's really, really good. What are you going to do with those events? And let's help you have little mini successes so you believe you can have some successes, because you've had some kind of big, hard things, and it like eats us up. Like, so I haven't been through the exact same situation you've been through, but I understand how fear keeps you from moving sometimes. Okay, totally understand that feeling. Okay, so I want you watching motivational movies, Remember the Titans, 42, Soul Surfer. I want you've got lists of movies on every single one of these agendas. Okay, sit down, watch these with your family, watch them with your husband. Start filling yourself with stories of how people have overcome hard. Okay, you've got to start pulling off some of this like intense fear that is heaped on your heart right now, and you just have to do it one day at a time. That's part of why I give you the assignment to look at your goals and to read something inspirational every day, because those two things help to unload the fear from on top of all the hope and the ability and the talent that you have. Okay, so focus on that. I mean, if you have to watch a movie every single day, like put the Facebook aside, focus on something positive. Okay, quite frankly, I'm going to say this as nice as I can, but you're watching people, literally thousands on those just two websites, thousands of people are failing because they're spending so much time on Facebook when they need to be talking to people. Okay, you need to start seeing successes. Okay, one sale, one little connection, that's not the kind of success you have the ability to do. You have the ability to be one of the top in the company, and this is a brand new company, and you have the ability to do whatever you want with this. You're incredibly articulate, you've done business before, you're beautiful, you've got everything going for you. Okay, and we're just going to take one layer off at a time. Okay? You're going to cry? I cry. I joke, everybody cries in my office. You were staying here in my office. There's always lots of crying that goes on in my office, okay? Because people start getting over their fears, and it's like hope and scary all at the same time, all like mixed into one big ball. Okay? You're human, Belinda, and you've had some hard. Okay, hun?
Yep.
I'm not going to I tease you a little bit, but I wouldn't tease you if I didn't think you could do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's certain people that I can't do that with. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how I handle stress.
I know. And it's okay, but you know what? You can have new habits, and you can take that, and the thing is, it's like, that wasn't a failure, that was a learning experience, and you learned some stuff from it, and now you can totally do something different. Like, I think Disney had 600 failing businesses before he started Disneyland and stuff like that, right? Okay, it's okay to not be successful at everything. Yep, Edison, 10,000 attempts on the light bulb. I always am like, you recorded that? Like, I don't want to record how many times I failed.
No
It
kidding.
blows my brain. Like,
Yeah, no
you all
kidding.
said how many times you tried? Like, that's amazing. Okay?
Yep.
All right. I want you to find something happy to be watching every day. See if it's on Netflix. Where you gotta
Your daughter twirling in the background. Pretty funny.
I know.
She's cute.
You just see the picture of the cheerleader she just drew. She's such a
Oh,
and
I
she's
miss my
got,
daughter being that young.
yeah, she's my little personality and my performer. Mini needs. Oh, it's scary.
Isn't it scary when you see yourself in the mirror and your child? You're like, whoa. And all.
Yeah, luckily she's pretty darn sweet. So I'm both. So, but you ladies can do this, okay? And you do. That's why we set goals, and then that's why I give you business tools and set goals and business tools, because we have to keep the excitement up to offset the uncomfortable things I tell you to do. And usually you're more like, see, usually you're more comfortable with the thing I tell you to do, but it still isn't something you've been doing. You've still been using other wording that other companies taught you. You want to say hi to my friends? Are you going to call me your cheerleader?
Oh, that's pretty cool.
But Hayden just draw the heart for me.
She has a little art class online that she was taking. Nice.
Neat. Very talented.
Can you tell those ladies how awesome they are?
Hello.
Tell them how awesome they are. You're going to sell lots of stuff and have lots of fun, right? Okay.
Beauty.
Nice to meet you.
You're just always happy, aren't you? You're my good girl. All right. Can you say,
Hi.
what's our new favorite song? What were we singing all weekend? Yeah, bass. How does it go? How does that one go?
I don't know.
It's all about bass? No, you got that bass. How does it go? And I can't remember. No trouble. How does it go? Boom, boom, boom. Anyway. Okay, can I get any other questions? You guys have any thoughts?
Doing good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Did her eye?
Yes. I had cancer when I was a baby,
Oh.
but I'm okay now.
That's amazing. We have a friend who had that. A friend of mine, how old is she? 2 or 3 year old. She has a glass eye and she had cancer.
Retinoblastoma, was it?
I think so.
I was the first generation that survived retinoblastoma. There
Wow.
are only 3 people in the world that are as old as I am. And
Wow.
I'm one of the only people who, from the 60s that survived with single-sidedness. It almost always blinds a person in both eyes.
Wow.
And we've been very fortunate that my sons don't have it because it is a hereditary thing. And so,
That's an amazing story.
but God healed me. So,
That is awesome. Tyler, that's awesome. Somebody said
yes.
pretty powerful prayer from Miss Rona.
There we go.
Tell them all bye. Say thanks for
Bye-bye.
playing.
Bye-bye.
Say
Bye-bye.